We beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen. What transpired yesterday? Page 1465, page 1466, page 1467, page 1468, page 1469. Senator Titus Zam.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dr. Titus Tatengizam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. I rise to move that the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 12th March 2025 be adopted as a true reflection of the proceedings of yesterday. Thank you.
Senator Kevin Chiku, could you please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to support the motion that the vote on proceedings of Wednesday, 12 March be adopted. I so move.
Thank you, Senator Calvin. Those in favor of the motion that the votes and proceedings of yesterday be adopted as moved by Senator Titus, as seconded by Senator Calvin Chiku, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of yesterday is hereby adopted. Announcement. I wish to acknowledge the presence of students of the Nigerian Institution of Surveying and Geoinformatics, Federal Polytechnic, Nasarawa State, and who are here to witness our proceeding of today. You are most welcome. Welcome. You may sit down. Also, I will also want to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Christ Anglican Nursery and Primary School, Saburi District, Abuja. You are most welcome. The young shall grow. God bless you. God bless all of you. You are welcome to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You may wish to sit down. Any petition? Senator Jim Ibrahim.
Mr. Senate President, my very distinguished colleagues, my name is Jimo Folorenshaw Ibrahim, representing the good people of Ondo South. Mr. Senate President, I have multiple petitions, two of them combined here, and the petitions were written by His Royal Majesty Oba T.O. Adesayo, who is the Ahaba of Ajagba Kingdom. He is from Ode-Irele, one of the local governments that I represent of the 6 that makes my senatorial district. To talk to the petition without wasting your time, Mr. Senate President, one of the petition is against the Ministry of Science and Technology. This ministry has established Aquatic Biology Center in Ajagba. They supply all the equipment. In the last 4 years, we can't find any building. And we suspect that those equipment are rotting away, but we can't have any building. They are not building anything, but all the equipment for that aquatic center was supplied in multi-million naira. That's one of the petitions, Mr. President. The last one has to do with the fact that the Ajagba people, their land is being carved out for the exploration of petroleum products, and they produce petrol from there. But the name Ajagba Town is not captured in the benefits. So they take the product away, but there's no benefits derived by the town. So the petition is called for enlistment of Ajagba as one of the beneficiary from NNPC from the exploration of our crude oil. It may please your Excellency, the Senate President, that these two all important, very fundamental petitions are being laid before the clerk of the House if it's so approved.
Any legal encumbrance? Is it before any court of law?
Interestingly, there is nobody that challenged this petition from His Imperial Majesty, the Agba of Ajagba. We are not in court. We prefer, mutual settlement.
Thank you. You may wish to place the petition on the table.
Thank you very much, Mr. Senate President, and my distinguished colleagues, as I proceed to lay the two petitions.
The petition is referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to report back within 2 weeks. Any other petition? The Senate Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am rising before we go to the first business of the day. I'm rising under Order 41 and 51 to address a matter of urgent public importance. Mr. President, I don't know if I need to read.
You can go on.
Okay.
You are permitted.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I have no doubt that our colleagues are well familiar with this order. But for the record, again, Order 41, sub 1 of our rule says the matter of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And then Order 51 of our rules also talks about dispensing with notice. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general consent of the senators present. The essence of Order 51 is that ordinarily, the issue of urgent public importance I'm about to raise ought to come on as a form of motion or notice. But Order 51 gives us the authority as a Senate to dispense with that notice if in the judgment of the presiding officer and the consent of distinguished senators, the notice can be dispensed with. And the matter of urgent public importance that I want to discuss, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, border on the kind of distraction that we have witnessed in the last 2 weeks as a Senate and as elected representatives of the Nigerian people, and the need for us to rest this matter so that we can concentrate on the mandate for which we were elected by the Nigerian people. And there's no doubting the fact, or there's no pretending about the fact that members of public have been genuinely interested in matters happening within this hallowed chamber in the last 2 weeks, especially with respect to the allegation by one of our distinguished members, home and abroad, as to whether or not she had been sexually harassed. And I feel it is important, once and for all, that we place on record where we are on this matter and rest the matter as an institution so that we can concentrate while we allow the court of law and any other agencies so constituted to deal with such matters to do their job. That is the basis of my rising on Order 41 and 51, and I will seek your permission and the consent of the Senate to go ahead with this.
My distinguished colleagues, you've heard the synopsis of why it's coming under two of these orders. I don't need to repeat that again. Is it your view to allow him to move on? Please, those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate will continue.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank you, very distinguished colleagues. I begin by recognizing the right of members of public to subject what we do to utmost scrutiny. And I recognize the fact that it is the people that can criticize the government, because we're a part of the government. The government cannot criticize the people. Also, I recognize the fact that it is the people that can dissolve the government. The government cannot dissolve the people. And on that basis, I feel we owe the Nigerian public an explanation. Simply in this regard, this Senate, for the record, was never at any point between August 2023, when distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan alleged to have been sexually harassed by the president of the 3 up until the day that we announced on this floor that we were referring the petition brought by distinguished Senator Yemi Adaramodi with respect to Senator Natasha's flagrant disobedience to the rules and regulations of this House, of this Senate, was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions. In other words, none of us was ever told about any, sexual harassment situation. I want that to be clear. Secondly, I also want to make it clear to the public that the issue before us, as of the time we refer this matter to the Ethics and Privileges Committee had nothing to do with sexual harassment. And some of the critics who have said this Senate allowed Senator Godswill Akpabio, the President of the Senate, to be a judge in his own cause and to preside over his own matter, need to be told, with all due respect, that the matter before us and on which Senator Godswill Akpabio presided over as the President of the Senate had to do with the motion that was referred to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition. While we appreciate the concern of the public on this matter, I just want to emphasize that it is important that we also seek the understanding of the general public, that we were elected to serve the people. And we are guided, whatever we do in this chamber, we are guided by rules. And these our rules are also drawn pursuant to the Constitution of our country. So it's not a rule of men, it's a rule of law. It's not about some men trying to gang up against a woman or anybody. It's about ensuring that our rules are respected. That is the only way we can guarantee peace, we can guarantee law and order. That is the only way we can have an atmosphere in which we'll be able to do our job and serve the Nigerian people. Again, some of the critics have also said we have no right to even suspend a member of this parliament, or this Senate. Again, I will leave that within the context of jurisprudence, as the courts will always speak to that. But it is very clear on our rules as to how far we can go. And we are not of the opinion that we are in breach of either the Constitution or any of our rules. Again, Section 60 of the Nigerian Constitution confers on this parliament the constitutional right to regulate its own procedure. And Section 1, subsection B of our rules book also makes it clear by reiterating that constitutional authority granted to us by Section 60 of our rule, of the Constitution, giving us the right to regulate our procedure. And suspension, as far as we are concerned, is the only alternative to the kind of anarchy that the nation witnessed in the past, where members of parliament had reasons to shout, to get physically engaged with each other, to engage in acts of violence, to tear each other's clothes, and, do all manners of things. We are moving, thank God that we are moved away from that. It also shows that democracy is growing, not sent as it might appear to be. And if there are people who still have issues with whether or not we can even suspend an erring legislator who have refused or who is refusing to work within the rules, I believe, again, like I said, is for the court to continue to adjudicate, on that, unless the Constitution is amended, taking away the authority for us to regulate our own procedure. And then, of course, with respect to the question of whether or not we are to, follow our rules, let me emphasize that the seventh schedule to our Constitution, the seventh schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, is clear. And it contains the oath of office that we are all made to take before we assume office as senators. And in that oath, we all swore that we will uphold this Constitution, that we will make laws for the good governance of this country, and that we would also, in every step that we take, obey the rules and regulations of this Senate. We swore to that oath. And it is for this Senate as an institution to ensure that everybody abides by that oath. And again, outside of Nigeria or outside of this Senate, when it comes to our inter-parliamentary engagements, every one of those organizations, from Inter-Parliamentary Union to Commonwealth Parliament to African Union Parliament to ECOWAS Parliament, everyone is, run on the basis of rules and regulations drawn from the protocols establishing those organizations. And that was why the Inter-Parliamentary Union president, 2 days ago, after listening to our colleague, distinguished Senator Natasha, had to also go by their rule. One, that the issue that she raised was outside of the agenda of the meeting. Number two, having heard her, it will also be important to listen to the other side, because they are all guided by rules. And also, let me emphasize that Section 1, Sub 1 of the law establishing the Inter-Parliamentary Union itself makes it clear that membership of IPU shall be on the basis of national parliamentary organization. In other words, there are no individual members. It is parliaments of sovereign nations that are members